Hey everybody, welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Tuesday. Do we have anything starting with a T that we can say about Tuesday?
Dying Light.
It's Dying Light Tuesday.
Oh,
Yeah?
I guess that works.
Yeah, it's as good as you're gonna get.
Thanks. Happy Tuesday, everybody. We've got another delayed game to talk about. Hell
no.
yeah, or hell no. Here's to our sincere hope that we don't jinx a single other thing. No one say the Animal Crossing word, I swear to
You
God.
already said it.
I said it.
You're your own worst enemy. First Avengers and the Final Fantasy VII remake, then Cyberpunk, now this!
Oh.
2020 is officially the year of tweets titled, "And now a note from the developers."
Dude, that's so ominous. Brian, I can't believe you forgot to mention Iron Man VR.
I don't play VR games because I get motion sickness.
Oh,
Kinda
he's
cute.
old.
You ever stick your grandpa in a VR headset and just watch him go to town?
At the mall.
We're going to dig a little deeper into why all these delays are happening now, but first, let's bring out the latest victim.
Yeah.
Wheel him on out here. Let's see all the gory details.
Yeah, this time it's Dying Light 2, the sequel to the 2015 survival zombie action RPG. That's a lot of adjectives. It's being developed by the Polish developer Techland, which is also known for making Dead Island and the Call of Juarez games.
Wow, heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Dying Light isn't a huge franchise, right, Brian?
Yeah, but the first game, it did get some praise from critics for being a solid open world game. IGN called it one of the most engrossing open world games, zombie infested or otherwise, I played in a while. Then they said 6 out of 10, too many zombies. That'll never get old.
Got him.
Yeah, hey, they're changing their reviewing score now, okay?
Are
so
they?
we can't dunk on them
Good for
anymore.
them.
Yeah, they're figuring it out.
Take that, far more successful channel.
It's a great game. I played it because it was $4 on Steam. It's not $4 now because we checked this morning and it is $40, which is
Worth it.
crazy.
Yesterday, we got a Twitter post from the game's official account confirming that its sequel is being delayed indefinitely.
Oh, no.
And Jesus wept. Jesus being my old GameStop manager who was super stoked about the first Dying Light. I'm sorry. 3-day weekends are real rough on the old humor bone. Thanks for not dousing your computers in gasoline and throwing a match.
If you do want to dose your computer in gas, though, link that video. That'd be pretty
some
badass,
Is that,
right?
is that how you get
Huh?
off?
Yeah.
Computers being lit.
Ah! The note from Techland CEO Powell Marchuka said that, quote, "We were initially aiming for a spring 2020 release with Dying Light 2, but unfortunately we need more development time to fulfill our vision." What did spring 2020 do to these people?
I know, seriously.
God.
Stop stunning on him. Come on. He went on to say that our priority is to deliver an experience that lives up to our own high standards and to the expectations of you, our fans.
Sounds like there is going to be a long wait. He didn't give any new release date.
no.
Yeah, that's never a good sign. Saying that they'll have, quote, more details to share in the coming months.
Oh no, that's terrible.
How many months?
That could be all of the months.
Yeah, why do developers announce release dates at all? Just wait until you're done and then give us a date. That way we don't have to go through this every year. Stop telling us the baby's coming if you're just gonna keep sucking it back in. Yeah, that's how vaginas work. Get over it. We have black holes we can study right here on Earth. Vagina. Bye, Patrick.
So yeah, Dying Light 2 has been in the works for a while now. It was announced back in 2018 at E3, and then last year, Techland showed off a demo and gave us the spring 2020 release window.
Yeah, so that's actually not that long. If they had announced
No.
it in like 2015 or something,
It's one of those things that feels like it's been around for like 8 years.
Yeah.
Connor, what's that Amazon Prime show?
Jack Ryan.
Jack Ryan, that Jack Ryan Amazon Prime show. I swear to God,
It felt like it was being advertised for
like a decade. When the first season came out, I thought they were on like season 5. It was like,
Is this the one with Jim from The Office in it?
yes.
time dilation is real.
You mean Carnival Row?
Oh!
No.
But as spring gets closer and closer, obviously they realize that they weren't going to make that date.
Nicely done.
Right.
Also, what kind of a name is Techland? That is like the bargain basement of developer
They're
names.
Polish, dude.
But yeah, fun coincidence, it's going to be published by Square Enix, which is also publishing, obviously, Final Fantasy VII Remake and the Avengers games. They're notorious for this.
Square Enix is kind of famous for announcing dates that almost always evaporate when they get close. Please give me Advent Children already. Why are you torturing me? That's not a joke for me, because I don't know what you're talking about.
I
so.
mean, I wrote that, and I also don't really know what I'm
Okay.
talking about. 'Cause I'm
Cool.
a fake gamer girl.
I'm a Final Fantasy boy, yeah. I like little boys with flat-ironed hair and huge swords. Yeah, I'm
cool.
a...
Me
Hell
too.
yeah.
As for why Dying Light 2 got delayed, it might have had to do with the scope of the game.
It's set 15 years after the first game and features a new protagonist, Aiden Caldwell, and humanity's last bastion called, quote, the city. The city is about to collapse and there are two rival factions known as the Peacekeepers and the Scavengers.
Holy yeah, it's supposed to bring back the parkour gameplay of the original, and there's also a massive open world map that the developers say is 4 times bigger than the first game. It's also the first game where you want to murder your own character because he's named Aiden.
Oh, poor Aiden. Go back to the suburbs.
Got him. It just feels like such a Zoomer name. I don't know.
Shoutouts to my brother Aiden.
The game also sounds a lot more ambitious when it comes to player choice. Eurogamer checked out a demo at last year's E3, and it sounds like your choices in the game will have big impacts down the road.
Some of your choices will decide whether a character lives or dies. Others could even lead to a whole section of the map being unlocked, or not. They can also lead to whole settlements being wiped out.
That makes sense then, that it's taking this long, because that is a pain in the ass to develop, I'm sure.
There's also a heavier emphasis on story for Dying Light 2. Calm down, stop it.
Sorry, I'm so hot.
For Dying Light 2, they got the famed designer Chris Avellone to write the script. He also worked on Divinity Original Sin, Jedi Fallen Order, and Prey.
Well, yeah, he's been f***ing busy on Jedi Fallen Order, dude. You know?
Yeah.
It's been taking
He's working on that DLC that probably doesn't exist.
This could be a case similar to Cyberpunk 2077, right, Brian?
Yeah, hugely ambitious game. It's going to take longer than the devs thought. Cyberpunk, speak of the devil, has been in development since at least 2013. CD Projekt Red said they want it to be their crowning achievement for this generation. They said that after they delayed it because, crowning achievements take time.
I get it. I mean, I'm running into a lot of issues with my 8-bit retro Zelda clone that I started in 2003.
That's a joke for Gen Xers out there.
Yeah.
That's why Brian made it. Yeah, as for Dying Light 2, the devs probably feel pressure to live up to and exceed the original because it got so-so reviews, but it's definitely got its fans. Is that you, Jesus?
It's also possible that all of these devs are delaying their games back so they can make next-gen versions, considering that this console cycle is almost done. It's coming to the sun is setting.
Yeah. Where were you?
Good night, sweet princes.
Maybe they want to be some of the first games available on the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. Launch consoles always have pretty thin libraries, so if your game can release in that early window, that could mean the big bucks.
Ooh,
the
yeah.
buckaroonies, you know what I'm talking
Big
about?
bucks, no
Lambs.
whammies.
What?
3 dudes in the comments will get it. AKA my fan base.
And we've talked about how gamers these days seem to be more understanding about delays because it's better to have a polished game a few months later compared to a buggy mess that meets an arbitrary launch date.
Plus, there were more and more concerns about overworking development teams, aka crunch, to meet deadlines.
But do delays prevent crunch? Nintendo said they delayed Animal Crossing to avoid crunch. Some people think it's the exact opposite.
Oh my god, yeah, friend of the show, Brian's personal best friend, Jason Schreier, wrote an essay a few days ago on Kotaku arguing that delays actually cause more crunch, which sucks a lot.
He used Naughty Dog as an example, which he called, quote, well known for workaholism. They announced last year they were delaying The Last of Us 2 from February to May, but Schreier claims that just means there will be 3 more months of overtime.
But yeah, that makes sense if they're gonna work more in those final months, not less. And it's kind of like, if you don't set an end date, like you're just gonna continue to work and work and work and work until, that very last moment.
Gamers love that shit though too. Like they hate that they can't play it, but they love the idea that like there's just some lunatic in there by himself creating with no boundaries.
Yeah, you're right. Going insane off their like 5th Red Bull.
And the head of CD Projekt Red admitted that long hours would be a reality in the lead up to Cyberpunk's new release date of September 17th.
CEO Adam Kaczynski recently told investors what, Brian?
He said, is the development team required to put in crunch hours? To some degree, yes, to be honest. We try to limit crunch as much as possible, but it is the final stage. We try to be reasonable in this regard, but yes, unfortunately. So yeah, probably not a lot of Hawaiian shirt Fridays over at CD Projekt Red these days.
I mean, you can crunch in a Hawaiian shirt just as easily as in a suit and tie or
in fact, it
whatever
does
else you
wick
wear.
the sweat away quite efficiently.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
That would probably be dressing up.
Yeah, collared shirt. Oh my goodness. So despite all the talk about cutting back on crunch and treating employees more humanely, all that does seem to go out the window when deadlines are approaching. I mean, if you think about how game development has worked basically forever, it's kind of one of those things where I think it's gonna not be super possible for them to entirely step away from it yet. Hopefully we're getting there, but it's the same thing with movies and I don't know, all these things have been set up to be like super crunchy at the end. It's like in post and stuff.
Oh,
It's kind of a nightmare.
They're also heavily unionized.
That's true. Yeah, probably.
They get
for this
paid for that
reason.
overtime.
Yeah.
Yeah, so while some developers obviously treat crunch as an unavoidable fact of life, we're also seeing moves lately by employees to organize.
Uh-oh.
Sound the alarms.
Better watch out there. Guys, should we unionize?
I actually have my own union.
Oh, you do? What's it called?
I can't tell you. It's exclusive.
Didn't you go to improv school, Connor? I was setting you up.
It was classes, but not school.
Yeah, well, no major game studios are unionized. Earlier this month, a major union, the Communication Workers of America, announced a new campaign to unionize video game employees.
Nice. Yeah, obviously we don't know if anything will come of that, but it's definitely a sign that more and more people are paying attention to the working conditions in video games. And if these delays are causing more and more crunch, you can bet that we'll hear more calls for unionization.
Yeah, at any rate, we've still got Animal Crossing Horizons, Doom Eternal, and Ori and the Will of the Wisps to look forward to this spring, and all of those were delayed too.
God damn, yeah. And don't forget Half-Life Alyx in March.
Oh, that's for sure getting delayed.
Tomorrow. They're going to announce it tomorrow.
That or the game is just already done, and they're just sitting on it.
That would not be very Valve-like, but you know what? We can hope
Neither
for
is
it.
releasing a game, though.
That's
So,
true,
I mean, they're
yeah.
already...
They're already way out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Everyone's freaking out. Dude, my shirt is falling apart. I'm trying to get it, please.
You're trying to grab a release.
No!
You're trying to grab a release date as
Nice.
it floats away.
Good closing, Patrick.
That's exactly how yesterday's daily ended. Auto grabbing at Fuzzy's footing in the
Oh
air.
God, you're right.
Yeah, while delays are nothing new in video games at all, could it be that fans are more forgiving of delays nowadays? Gamers learning forgiveness and empathy. Now that's a headline, baby. That's going to get us some clicks.
That kind of scares me.
Anyway, let's check out what they said about the delays, which was, Brian?
Bad?